Ask questions first, and then
I've got a very specific question to already ask. How do you pronounce Giclee?
Giclee.
Giclee. Oh my god, thank you.
There you go. Right, Giclee.
And what is it?
So it's a very fancy word for a digital print. I think, if I remember rightly, Giclee means ink drop in French.
Ink drop. Okay. Wow.
So that's what the origin of the word. You'll probably have people tell you that's not correct, but I'm pretty sure that's what it means. But yeah, I mean, Giclee digital print, fine art digital print. I mean, it's they're the same thing, and we use these machines here.
What's the difference between that and normal printing?
So, well, I mean, in the studio here at Jealous, we use screen printing or we use digital, and we've seen over the 16, 17 years we've been open that the move to using more digital technologies in terms of print is far greater than we ever imagined. As the materials have got better, people have become more trustworthy of the longevity of the prints as well. I remember when we opened in 2008, people weren't always sure about how the paper was going to last in terms of the ink going on it, in terms of maybe the paper yellowing, but that's all gone. And now, to be honest with you, one of the busiest strands of the business at the moment is digital printing or Giclee printing. We do so much in the studio, and more and more artists are using that as either a print on itself in terms of just a digital print, or what we're finding is a lot of artists are mixing both mediums. So we are either printing a digital print and then we're overprinting with embellishments, which we do with screen printing, or in Endless's case, we'll digitally print the works and then he'll hand finish on top of them, and the paper's really, really sturdy and resilient to be able to take different materials on top, so you get those kind of nice layers. You know, with print, you've got to realise that it's a very flat medium. You have to kind of implement a texture or some depth within the imagery, and so either that be with screen printing or whether that be hand finished, that's where you're trying to build up the layers on top of it and kind of trick the viewer's eye when they're looking at it.
What sort of paper do you use?
So we've got more and more paper in stock as the kind of time's gone by. Again, not many companies did digital print paper or fine art digital paper, but we're getting more and more stock in different variations. We tend to only use 2 or 3 of them because they do the job. So Somerset produce a really, really great paper. Hannah Muller produce some great paper. And because we're, again, going back to the idea of kind of overlays with screen printing, it tends to be that we will use a smooth paper, like a Somerset Satin Infinity, which is really good for laying the screen printing on. There are certain people who like to use one which is like Somerset Velvet, which has a texture, or Museum Etching, for example, from Hannah Muller, which has textures in it, but they don't work so well if we're doing overlays. So it's really about what the artist or kind of, you know, the person who's reading a project wants to print, really. But we'll proof everything, and then they'll sign it off, and then we'll print, you know, hit the run.
What's the process?
What's the process in terms of?
Like, do you receive the art and then you pick the paper?
So with every project, we'll receive the image from the artist, and then we'll proof the image. So we make sure we got all the colours correct, and but they're happy to go. And then once they give us the okay, we'll then run the edition in terms of however many they want. But I mean, the beauty of digital is that we can produce one, and then, you know, we keep the file on, you know, the image on file. We can then print one, you know, every now and again. Whereas with screen printing, you have to set everything up at the same time. So that's what another benefit of digital is, that it means that you can print smaller runs and go back to it, visit it later. But it just depends on what the artist wants, what the budget is, you know, what they're looking for. It might be, yeah. It's all of these things, all these factors come together to make the final project.
Thank you. Is there anything else that you want to say in particular about the process?
Print?
Yeah.
Been doing it for too long. No, well, yeah, we've been doing it. I mean, Jealous has been open since 2008, and I mean, I think that print for me is the most, in terms of kind of like the modern world, or, you know, the contemporary art scene, it's the one that's probably the most relevant to the world around us, because it's very immediate. You know, we're surrounded by, you know, advertisements, you know, billboards, all of those, and they're all print. And I suppose that when you're connecting to an artist, connecting to the everyday, I think that print allows you to do that, and it's the most accessible, and that's what made me excited about printmaking when I was learning about it. And at art school, and it still excites me. But we have this kind of very immediate form of art, which means you can take something that's on a computer or in a sketchbook and create a multiple from it. And I think that's something really, really exciting.
As an artist yourself, how does that change your form of art?
See, I go slightly against that. My artwork is that I always look to do the happy accident. So even something that might be a repeat of a multiple, I'll always hand finish mine, a bit like Endless as well, repeat. So they have a unique overlay on top of the print. So I'm fighting against the idea that it's a multiple, but it is a multiple, if that makes sense.
Yes.
I haven't really explained that very well. But yeah, but I like the idea that somebody has something which, yes, it might be part of an edition of 50, whatever, but you've got unique overlays on top, which allows you to for the person who's buying that or the collection it's going into to feel that they have a unique piece of that artist. Because we work with a lot of artists who may give us an image and we produce the edition and they don't do anything until they sign it. So I quite like the idea that artists or the artist has a hands-on approach to those prints, because for me it feels like it's a more validated piece that way.
How do you feel about Endless pieces yourself?
How do I feel about Endless's pieces? I love Endless, he's good. I've been doing it for so long, he's good. But no, again, he's got the same feelings as I have to the way he approaches his work, but there's a question of kind of ownership and value when it comes down to hand finishing, and I think people buy into that. I think people like it when when an artist has a one-to-one relationship with that print, and he seems to be able to create the same as I do. That kind of, because every mark is not the same. When you see him come in and he's working here and you see him spraying his, the stencils, not everyone's the same. There might be similarities, but not everyone's the same. So I think for me that's very. And he's always so polite. He is. Not all artists are polite, and that's what I like about him. And he's a Suffolk boy. That's good.
That's intrigued me, saying that not all the artists are polite. Do you get people that are difficult?
All artists are lovely in their own way. Let's say that.
Thank you, Adam.
No worries. That's all right. That's a good.
That's cool. Well, I'll see more from you.
If you like this video, please like, subscribe and click that little bell so you get our notifications. Thank you.